think I'm live.
I hope I'm live. Oh, look at this handsome fucker we're about to talk to. Dr. Detective Hasanaga. Not doctor. I'm getting confused because he's about to testify to us about forensic medicine. My name's George. I'm here to play the Great Ace Attorney. In the last one, I was a woman, but dressed as a man. We are doing some cross-dressing shenanigans, pulling a Mulan. I'm here to defend a woman in court, but we are in the past before women were respected as lawyers. So, my job is to get my client found not guilty. Unfortunately, we're having a little bit of a medical mishap. I forgot exactly what we're about to talk about. Let me see if I can remember. So, right. Okay, my girl, my client, she allegedly pulled the knife out of the victim who was stabbed, but we don't think that she put the knife into the woman, only pulled the knife out of the woman. And I was like, oh, she probably pulled the knife out to save the victim. And I'm sitting here with my man brain thinking, that sounds not correct. I've never really helped a stabbing victim, but I feel like I have passively learned in society that if you find somebody who's been stabbed with something, that you are not supposed to pull the thing out of the person, because you might do more damage, and also you might open up like some bleeding wounds, and they might like die. They might bleed out and die. So I think you're supposed to leave them plugged up and get them proper medical attention, and you're supposed to let a qualified professional deal with object removal from people. I think that's correct. I think that's what he's about to tell us is the case, but maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm way off. I could be just stupid. John Brown, Fiction of Grandeur, Jacob Welsh, Johnny Petriello, and Kuran says, hello. We have to get started right away because I don't have a ton of time to stream tonight. I am flying at like 4 o'clock in the morning. So gotta be ready for that. All right. Give me your testimony. Pulling a blade from a wound without thinking could cause heavy bleeding. I knew it! I am a scientist. That's basic knowledge that any medical research assistant with an ounce of sense ought to know. In other words, there's no good reason why the defendant would have tried to pull the knife from the victim. And let's not forget that the young student did have a motive for killing the victim. The man the victim murdered 9 months ago, Dr. Wilson, was the defendant's highly respected mentor. Yeah, okay, so I was right. Well, what do I do about this?
Is what you're saying, is what you just said true, Inspector? Could pulling a knife from a wound really cause the wound to bleed heavily?
Yeah, that's how they work. Yes. Think of the weapon itself as a stopper in the wound that prevents excessive blood loss. Until a doctor is ready to provide proper treatment, that stopper shouldn't be removed.
Oh! I see. This is why yokels should stay on the farm! Even a quack from some obscure mountain village would have such basic knowledge.
Alright, Rosebud, calm down there.
Anyone who's ever given someone a little poke with a knife and pulled it out, again, knows.
I don't think you have to actually stab someone to know that. I knew this information, and I have never stabbed anybody.
Oh, well, I've never stabbed anyone, you see, or pulled a blade out of a wound, so...
Of course you haven't. I didn't bring you up to behave like a bandit.
Father, is it true what they're telling me?
Yes, it's actually basic remedial knowledge. For anyone. You should know this. You're kind of slow. Ray would have been well aware of it too. If she were to claim ignorance of such fundamentals, that would prove fatal in many ways.
Well, then why would Ray have done it? Could she have pulled out the knife in full knowledge that it would be fatal for Miss Bratt?
I don't know.
Ray never once mentioned anything about the knife to me. It seems almost impossible to believe, but... Could my friend actually have...
Susato!
Yes, Daddy?
Pull yourself together. We mustn't lose sight of why we're here.
Right. Oh, okay.
Counsel, it's time for your cross-examination.
Oh, yes, Your Excellency.
However, I must warn you that if your cross-examination fails to identify any issue with the established facts, I will be moving to my adjudication immediately afterward.
Right. I understand the assignment. Okay. Believing in your clients and fighting for their cause until the bitter end. I knew it would be hard, but I had no idea it would be this hard.
Girl, we are in the tutorial land. You better get your shit together. Cross-examination. Alright. Pulling a blade from a wound without thinking can cause heavy bleeding. I don't really object to anything there. That's basic knowledge of any medical research assistant. I also agree with this statement generically. In other words, there's no good reason. Well, let me press this, because this is where I start to have questions.
But the defendant had suddenly encountered somebody she knew lying on the ground, bleeding to death. The sight could have shocked her delicate sensibilities, causing her to remove the blade inadvertently. She's only a woman.
I really don't think inadvertent actions could explain this. The woman is a medical research assistant. I can't imagine she would behave so irrationally. Dave Abler, hello.
Oh, but irrational behavior is a woman's prerogative, isn't it?
Oh my god! Susanoo-san! You are getting a little too into the part, I fear.
Honestly, same, girl.
We're only acting, okay? We have to play the role of a misogynist, because we can't get caught. It's like me when I have to hang out with straight men. Oh dear. You have a lot to learn about women.
Oh, don't pretend to be progressive on me now.
Only a small-minded man could have such bigoted views.
Oh, fuck. Perhaps I'm letting my male persona take hold a little too much.
Maybe.
Well, have I managed to convey the basics now? That should cover the medical side of the argument.
Okay, so that didn't get me anywhere. Let's not forget the young student did have a motive for killing the victim. I still question this motive a little bit.
Whatever the motive, it just isn't in Mamambi-san's nature to do something so awful. Mamba me, whatever the fuck her name is.
But she had both motive and opportunity. That's very hard to argue against.
But you don't know the defendant!
Oh.
And you, counsel, do not appear to know the law! What?
Yes, evidence is the only way to convince the court of your argument, not feelings.
With this fledgling to defend her, I would almost say I pity the accused. So do I.
Ryutaro would start a podcast.
Inspector, you will reiterate your point about the defendant's motive, please. Yeah, here we go.
Ah, yes. Well, Miss Brett was in many ways the sworn enemy of Ray Membami-san. The sworn enemy of Membami-san. Such a hard name for me to say, and I don't know why.
The man the victim murdered 9 months ago, Dr. Wilson, was the defendant's highly respected mentor.
Hold it!
What am I supposed to pick at here? Am I stupid?
Well, yes, that's true. Dr. Wilson recognized Membi-san's talent and offered her the position of assistant despite being a woman. She was extremely grateful to him.
Was there a little bit of sucky stuck involved in this? Because that's the kind of job I'm trying to get.
Yes, the Englishman appears to have been a very broad-minded individual.
Dr. Wilson had no time for outdated traditions. He met with opposition, of course, but he believed firmly in Mamambi-san's abilities.
Clearly, the defendant was in the man's debt, which only serves to prove my point.
This is hopeless. I can't find a single crack in this testimony anywhere. If Ray knew that withdrawing the knife from the wound would threaten Miss Brett's life, well then I just Can't think of any way to explain why she would do it.
Susato! It's times like these when lawyers must face their biggest smiles.
What?
I mean, it's times like these when it's especially important to remember the fundamentals.
The fundamentals?
Evidence is what counts in the courtroom.
Of course. I've been through the court record dozens of times already.
I think perhaps you're forgetting something, though. You needn't take the evidence at face value. You can and must examine it in greater detail.
Oh!
I realize this is your first time playing the role of lawyer in the courtroom. It's actually like my 8th.
Shit. Okay, well, examine the evidence in the court record. Okay, I know what to do.
I'm a smart cookie.
Come to think of it, Kazuma-sama and Naruhodo-san were always turning evidence over and over in their hands. Yes, I need to examine things in greater detail.
Right. Okay, I can do this. Straight away, sir.
All right, what piece of evidence am I overlooking? Oh, now I can look at the pen. I'm pretty sure I tried to look at the pen, and I'm pretty sure the game didn't let me earlier. So I think you guys were objectionably stalling.
If we take off the pen's lid,
Yeah, what about it, honey? Let's look.
nothing appears obviously out of the ordinary. Girl, what the fuck? And now, let's unscrew the barrel.
Okay, Jesus. Riveting gameplay, here we go.
This must be the little reservoir that holds the ink.
Yes, you fill it by drawing ink up from a bottle through the nib.
The nib.
Is something wrong, Father?
Well, it just appears that there isn't any ink in there.
You know what? You're right. It's pretty much empty. Well, it could be on the verge of running out of ink, I suppose.
Details of the fountain pen have been updated in the court record. Okay, why does that matter? Perhaps I'm getting ahead of myself and this doesn't matter yet. Okay. And then we have RM. Very clearly engraved. Clinging to this pen to identify our killer. I don't think that's the way that works, but okay. What about this back piece here?
There's some sort of emblem here. Look! But it isn't a Yume University one.
It must belong to some other organization, I suppose. A business of some kind. But that would seem to imply that the pen doesn't in fact belong to Ray.
Aha! The details of the fountain pen are updated. Okay. Good to know. Is that all we have to do with the pen? Maybe. What else can I re-examine? What's going on here?
Rakus England returnees tell all. This is the interview with you and Soseki-san, isn't it, Father? It looks as though it was quite an exchange.
Yes, he became a little over-animated when he was talking about his time in England. The photographer managed to capture the moment his hand karate chopped me on the neck.
Ow. I do hope that you weren't hurt.
Great. Any other stories worth reading? Maybe something on the back? I don't know. Newspaper from Soseki-san. This seems to be an important article. Oh, hello! Deadly poison stolen from Yume Medical School.
From Yume's medical research. Father, isn't that your lab? Wait,
Huh? Let me see that. The poison's been stolen.
it's this morning's paper that Soseki-san gave us. Are you saying you didn't know?
As embarrassing as that is for the head of the laboratory, I didn't. I've not heard such a thing. Where on earth could the reporter have gleaned this information?
Come to think of it, there was no article mentioning the story in our paper this morning, was there?
It's a highly toxic poison we've been working on in the strictest confidence. I'd put Ray in charge of the project.
Ray? She was managing it?
If what's written here is true, it means that she tried to hide the theft from me. And moreover, the details were leaked somehow.
I don't believe that for 1 second.
We need to read this article very carefully. The article about poison has been entered into the court record.
Has it been entered separately? An article about poison. Okay, what? Okay. Exclusive, extra, read all about it. Deadly poison stolen from Yume Medical Research Laboratory. Following a lecture at Yume by Soseki Natsuma. Let me try that again. Let me run it back. Following a lecture at Yume by Soseki Natsume, on 11th of August, it's come to light that a very disturbing incident has taken place. A deadly poison being secretly developed in the university's forensic science laboratory was stolen. Deadly in tiny quantities, even the smallest amount entering the body either via the mouth or via a wound from a poison-laced blade would prove fatal in minutes. Current methods cannot detect the newly developed chemical. The university would have to be consulted. Now, why is this poison being developed? Onset of symptoms occurs in minutes, starting with impaired breathing and ending with acute contraction of the pupils prior to death. Aha! I read about that with my woman! Miss Giselle Brett, she had, like, dilated pupils, or contraction pupils. Her pupils were fucked. Such symptoms would be suggestive of this toxin. It's apparently an entirely new synthesis of alkaloids and rumored to have been commissioned by the military. Okay, now we're getting somewhere. Okay, now how do I use this evidence? That would be great. Can I look at her eyes? No? Okay. Is there anything I can examine, maybe? No? Okay. That does pair with the post-mortem report. Where does it say it? Pupil constriction. Yeah, observed in both eyes. So how do I make my case here? Let me think. Pulling a blade from a wound could cause heavy bleeding. That's basic knowledge that any medical research with an ounce of sense would know. There's no good reason why the defendant would have tried to pull the knife. Let's not forget, the young had a motive. Dr. Wilson was the defendant's highly respected mentor. There's no good reason why the defendant would have tried to pull the knife from the victim. I mean, we haven't really built a case to use the poison article yet. Would it not be premature to just start throwing this out there? I mean, I could start to build to a different cause of death, but I don't know how that connects to not... I don't know if that's right. I'm not convinced. Not necessarily convinced. No, throw it out there. See what happens. All right, girl. You make the connection, because I don't know how to make the connection.
There is one possibility. One very good reason why the defendants might have decided to withdraw the knife from the victim's wound.
What?
Ha! The yokel not only has a poor grasp on the law, but is also a poor loser. Tell us then, what possibility do you think you've identified? It's right here in this newspaper article. An article about a deadly poison having been stolen from a laboratory at the Imperial Yume University. The victim perished from a stab wound. Poison bears no relevance in this case. But...
Prosecutor Ouchie, you will let the defense speak.
But a newspaper article? The court cannot rely on the kind of hearsay those wretched publications carry.
In other words, it's fake news. Counsel for the defense. I am going to need some tangible basis for your claim. You will indicate to the court precisely what part of the newspaper article mentioned affirms your assertion.
Your Excellency! I can do that, of course. Thank you. Ray would never have done something to further endanger Miss Brett's life without just cause.
Right.
The reason why the defendant pulled the knife from the victim's body is explained in the article where it says...
Let me look at it again real quick. I think it was the... Why is it being developed, right? Yeah, contraction of the pupils. All right. Why is it being developed? This section.
According to the article, the development of the poison was requested by the military.
Yes. A troubling revelation indeed.
Oh, it's very worrying. And yet, even more worrying is how this yokel is trying to manipulate the court. What?
Girl, why are you talking about the military? Talk about the pupils! The pupils, madame! The pupils!
I feel sure the explanation is somewhere in this newspaper article.
Try reading the article again.
Right. The reason why the defendant pulled the knife from the victim's body is explained in the article.
Okay, wait, hang on. Following a lecture, deadly poison secretly being developed. So, am I building blocks, George? Maybe we start by saying, hey, this poison is connected to the university. She's a student at the university. Maybe that's smallest amount entering the body via a wound from a poisoned laced blade. Okay, I think it's that, actually. Deadly in tiny quantities. But I'm circling back to the pupil thing, because that's gonna be relevant.
The article reveals the following property about the poison in question. When the toxin enters the body on a knife laced with the poison, it rapidly absorbs and causes death within minutes.
Are you suggesting...
If the knife used to attack Miss Brett was laced with this very poison, it would explain why the defendant, Memba Mi-san, would have withdrawn the blade as soon as possible.
But it's a red herring. I know it's a red herring because the knife was not poisoned. The poison was in the pen for sure. 100%. I promise you this fact right now. I don't know when we're going to figure it out, but we're going to figure it out. Poison was in the pen. The knife is a red herring. That is my prediction.
Yes, the truth is... It was an attempt to stop the poison from entering the victim's body!
What? Hell yeah. Is this the objection music?
Objection!
Oh.
This is complete and utter nonsense! Not at all, it's not. The defendant withdrew the knife blade from the victim's body not to accelerate the woman's demise, but to save her life. And the prosecution cannot deny the possibility. Have you not read the post-mortem report? The cause of death was a hemorrhage. The word poison appears nowhere in the document. Well, that's because by acting quickly to remove the blade, the defendant prevented the poison from taking hold.
Objection!
Oh, please. This clear desperation. The weasel's last breaking of a wind. Poison has nothing whatsoever to do with this case, as I believe the defense is well aware. We have no proof that the information in this wretched newspaper article is at all reliable anyway.
In that situation, what the student should have done is wait for medical assistance to arrive. But instead, you claim she suspected poisoning and took the potentially lethal decision to remove the blade. She must have had a strong reason for her suspicions then, or the argument makes no sense.
Exactly. Well put, Inspector. On what grounds did she do it? Yokel? Why did Ray suspect the stolen poison was involved? If you want grounds, I'll give you grounds.
What?
You can't possibly.
From your expression, Counsel, it would appear those are not empty words.
No, they're not. I have an answer.
But naturally, as you stand in this courtroom as a lawyer, you must be aware that words alone, empty or not, have no value in our modern justice system. The court demands evidence.
Yeah, I know. Your Excellency. Very well aware of that. I've seen it many times from my place at his side in the Old Bailey.
In that case, Counsel, you will present the proof to the court now. What evidence demonstrates a clear link between this case and the poison in the newspaper article? The post-mortem report. Contracted pupils. I got this in the bag.
I would ask the court to refer to the notes section of the post-mortem report, which reads, extreme meiosis, pupil constriction was observed in the victim. Clearly, being a yokel with no knowledge of forensic science, I have no idea, so please, do tell me. Presumably, the fact that this condition of the victim was noted in the post-mortem report means that it's an unusual symptom of death? Well...
Under normal circumstances, the pupils dilate when someone dies. If there was extreme constriction instead, that is most certainly unusual. Yes.
What are you doing, you yokel detective? In the newspaper article, there's the following information about the stolen poison. onset of symptoms occurs in minutes, ending with acute contraction of the pupils prior to death. What? If the defendant, upon seeing the victim stabbed in the back, happened to notice that the pupils of Miss Brett's eyes had constricted severely.
Yes. As a medical research assistant, she would have suspected poison immediately, without doubt.
Prosecutor Ouchie, I think you'll agree. This is very compelling evidence. You, yokel student, yokel professor!
What's a yokel?
I believe the defense has expertly demonstrated a credible argument for the defense's actions.
Now,
Yes. Eugen Mikotoba. It's mitochondria, Your Excellency. I believe you are best placed here to confirm or deny the veracity of the defense counsel's argument. You will tell the court the truth about the details reported in this newspaper. It pains me to have to admit it. But I'm afraid I don't know. You don't know? The toxin was kept under lock and key in my laboratory, certainly. But I was unaware of any theft.
Do you mean to tell the court that the reports of this theft are unfounded?
Well, no, Your Excellency. Without returning to the laboratory to investigate myself, I wouldn't be able to say one way or the other.
listen to the bumbling academic. Unaware of the theft of secret state research from his own workplace until he reads of it in the newspaper.
I do take full responsibility for the incompetence of my supervision.
Father? Just what a pitiful situation for a university professor. You should have more control over your students, rather than allowing them off on killing sprees. That's totally unfounded.
Hold it! Who's talking? Oh, it's you! Forgot about you, honey. What's up, girl?
None of this is Professor Mitochondria's fault. It's all my fault. Ray, what the fuck are you doing?
Remember me, son. You stand here accused. Outbursts like this will not be tolerated.
But it was me. I was the one who noticed that the poison we were developing had been stolen that day.
What?
So you knew. I'd been placed in charge of overseeing the project. It was the day that the professor and Soseki-san were interviewed together for the newspaper. That's when I noticed that some of the poison was missing. Just a tiny amount was.
Why didn't you let me know immediately?
Well, I was scared. The whole project was supposed to be confidential, but some of the toxin had somehow been taken. So, I decided that I'd try to get it back before anyone else found out. Because I had a very good idea who the thief was. The thief? You don't mean... I do, of course. It was that dainty English woman.
Miss Giselle Brett?
That's why I decided to join the little group of people going to the seaside. Inside the beach hut, I confronted Miss Brett. But she just sat on a stool at the back of the hut, smiling sweetly at me, as if she knew the situation was untouchable. I know it was you who stole the poison. Ha! Well now, whatever do you mean, dollface? And then, she suddenly got to her feet, before falling to her knees in front of me and then collapsing to the floor. What? That's when I saw the knife in her back. I couldn't understand what had just happened. And then, a moment later, I was seized with fear. The pupils of her eyes they'd shrunk to tiny pinpoints.
I don't believe it. In other words, you realize that the victim was suffering the effects of the stolen poison.
My mind started racing. I hadn't seen anything past Miss Brett's lips whilst I'd been with her. which left only one possible way for the poison to have entered her body. On the blade of the knife in her back.
And the train of thought was what spurred you to withdraw the blade.
That's right. If the amount that had entered her bloodstream was small enough, she might have still had a chance. That's what I hoped, at least. Really, I am so sorry for staying silent all of this time.
Girl, is this a confession? Well, who stabbed her? Who else was in the beach hut? Did she just sit her back into a knife? Like, oopsie! What happened?
Your attempt to hide the truth of what happened is not something that can be overlooked. However, I have duly noted the courage with which you confessed in the end.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Your Excellency. It's barely perceptible, but I do think the balance has shifted a little here, in this courtroom now.
Objection!
Oh, fuck me.
Your Excellency! Do not be deceived. The victim just collapsed before your eyes, you say? Well, Memba-mi-san, if that's the case, perhaps you could explain how Miss Brett came to be stabbed.
Well,
You have no answer because the simple truth is that you stabbed the victim, motivated by your revenge.
Objection!
but you have no conclusive evidence to prove that assertion, do you?
Oh, I have evidence. And it is very much conclusive.
What?
Oh, what's the prosecution counsel up to? It was brief, but he hesitated for a moment there. I'm sure of it.
You will produce the aforementioned evidence at once, Prosecutor Ouchie.
Perhaps some praise is due, young yokel student.
What?
I had imagined there'd be no need for me to submit this evidence. But you've brought this on yourself.
What, you got the photo of her pulling the knife out? We've already established that this is what happened. She pulled the knife out of Miss Giselle Brett, alright? Also, girl, you're giving Violet Baudelaire right here. What?
Could a more damning shot exist? The cruelty in the air on that beach is almost palpable.
I don't see what you're proving with this. Also, who took this photographic print? Is that not suspicious? Objection. Where did this photo come from?
This evidence, as more than any other, reveals the true extent of the accused's murderous nature. For it shows the precise moment that Memba-mi-san plunged her dagger into the victim's back.
Or the moment that she was pulling the dagger out of her back. Hello?
No, that's not true. No. I don't believe it. Ouch! My back. My neck. My pussy and my crack.
What? Oh, sorry.
Order in my court! Counsel for the defense. Was it you who was responsible for that shrill scream that just pierced my courtroom?
Oh, sorry. I meant to say, I'm screaming like a man.
Perhaps his voice has yet to break. These yokels are slow of mind and slow to let their balls drop.
You're one to talk. Your voice is more feminine than mine.
I'll show you who's slow to mature.
Careful now. Susato is starting to show her true face here. It is often said that a picture is worth 1,000 words, and here we have ample proof. The court will accept this extremely
Sorry, boys. When I'm an idiot and I don't know a word, I need to learn. I need to expand my vocabulary. I'm stupid.
Cogent.
Cogent. God, that's an embarrassing one. I should have known that. Extremely logical. This extremely logical photographic print as evidence. Cogent. Okay, yeah, sure. Throw it in there. I got this.
I can't believe he's had a photograph like that up his sleeve the entire time. It's such a stark image. I'm genuinely at a loss for words. Wait a minute. I don't understand. How did you... I mean, who took that photograph?
Girl, my question exactly. Are we not gonna, like, are we not gonna question that?
Ray!
Objection!
That's of no importance here. Objection! That's another person at the scene of the crime. It's absolutely of importance. What do you mean?
Stop trying to divert attention.
Oh,
Objection!
Yeah, object. We better.
that's an absurd thing to say. This is crucially important. Whoever took this photographic print was a witness to Miss Brett's death.
Exactly. Or her real killer.
The court must be allowed to hear this person's testimony.
Yeah!
I will uphold the defense's demand. The prosecution will reveal the identity of the person responsible for taking this photograph at once. Damn straight.
Well, I'm afraid I can't do that.
I beg your finest of pardons.
You see, this print arrived at the Imperial Police Bureau headquarters by express post yesterday. But, there was nothing to indicate the sender's name or address. The provenance of this print is unknown.
Goodness.
Are we to understand then, counsel, that in full knowledge of the fact that this photograph has the murkiest of origins, you nevertheless believe it fit for submission as evidence in the Supreme Court?
When you first produced the print before, I noticed that you hesitated for a brief moment. Because you knew it wasn't completely reliable evidence, didn't you?
Silence! You yokel student and blabbering professor! What matters is the blatant truth that this print so eloquently expresses.
But the defendant has already admitted to pulling the blade from the wound.
Yes, okay, thank you. That is what I was saying.
Clearly, this isn't the moment that the knife was plunged into the victim's back, but rather,
The moment it was withdrawn.
yes.
Don't waste this court's time with your ramblings.
Indeed. Without knowledge of who produced this print, we have no means of verifying the claim. And the scene it captures, without doubt, is without doubt the most compelling evidence presented to the court. Evidence that has no explanation behind it. It's useless. If the defense is unable to shed any further light on the matter, I believe the conclusion is clear. This is such an ace attorney court. Kangaroo court!
Oh no!
Susato, this is the time for you to fight. If what you've established so far is true, then there can be no doubt. This photograph shows the moments that Ray withdrew the blade from the victim.
Well, yeah, that's what I keep saying. But how do I prove that?
You'll have plenty of time to rue your defeat on the slow train back to the provinces.
Is that a short bus joke?
And to rue the day you came up against the Taketsuchi Ouchi in court of law.
If I can't determine who took this photograph, then the trial is going to come to an end. There must be a clue somewhere. There must be some way of working out who took it.
Well, counsel.
Your Excellency, the burning question is who took that photograph, and the truth is...
I need to look at it first and see if I can pull up a clue. Okay, so, what do we know? Let's take a look. Miss Giselle Brett, on the ground. Photo looks like it's taken from a crack within the beach hut. Maybe this is where the person, maybe they stabbed their little knifey through her, through this hole in the wall in her back. It's a peeping Tom. Well, one person was at the beach with Miss Giselle Brett. If I'm gonna throw somebody under the bus, it would be Inspector Hasanaga, right? Is there anything in this photograph that would prove that to be the case, though? Let's see. It looks like her eyes are closed, right? So, or is that her constricted pupil? Maybe that's what that is. I don't know. There's already, whoa, look at her fist. It's fucking giant. Well, she's got her little ribbon on. Miss Giselle Brett, she's on top of a little ribbon. I'm
I'm not really sure that I can prove anything here. Can I? Am I missing something? I don't know, or I have the answer. Who took that photograph? Logic dictates this, right? Chief Inspector, surreptitiously submerged in the sea in order to keep watch over Miss Brett. He was present at the time of her murder. He was present, so, like, he's the only person that it could be, but he was, like, allegedly in the fucking ocean, so I don't know. A former visiting student returned to Japan. He's now a successful author and a witness in the current case. He was also there. So maybe it was Soseki Natsume? Maybe? How do I prove that, though, with the photo? I'm, like, taking guesses. Do I bluff? Am I supposed to bluff? Let's save before I fuck up. Here's the thing. I have a hypothesis. Yeah.
This isn't about whether I can or can't come up with the answer now. I simply have to.
Right.
The identity of the person who took this dramatic photographic print is, I assure you, something the defense can and will reveal.
Seems like a cop-out, but okay.
What? You can't possibly. But as you so boldly claim you can, please enlighten us. Unfortunately, I'm unable to present a name. How utterly underwhelming. Did you really think— Oh! However, I am able to present evidence. The defense has a piece of evidence that reveals important details about the photographer's identity.
What? I do? I mean, I do. Also, Inquisitor, hello, what is this? This is the Great Ace Attorney. I'm the Great Ace Attorney. I'm defending my client. That's what you're watching right now. Very well then, counsel. Present your proof to the court. Which piece of evidence do you claim reveals something about the identity of the mystery photographer? Maybe the fountain pen, honestly? Okay. Well, I can't see her one hand. This hand doesn't look like it's fucking gripping anything, right? I don't know. Maybe... Well, there are two photos, are there not? Let me look at this one again. So... Oh, yeah. Look at this! This is my little hole in the wall! Okay, so I'm getting the clues here. Giselle Brett sits on this stool. The knife punches her in the back from outside of the beach hut through this crack in the wall. Abso-fucking-lutely. Now, how does that connect to the identity of our killer? That's a great question, one I don't know the answer to. So... Mask, wine glass, it's spilt over. Well, I think it's gotta be, I think there's nothing else left but the fountain pen. Because the fountain pen, we are saying that this pen is from, the emblem is not from UMA University, it's from somewhere else. Somewhere like maybe our Writers Britain thing, right? Because there's an emblem. The emblem is not from UMA University, but we have our author friends who, maybe this is his pen. Let's throw it out there.
The piece of evidence in question is this.
Well, if those are not the shifty eyes of a person who's about to get spanked by the court. I'm afraid, counsel, that you're stupid.
Oh, fuck.
I'm obliged to penalize you for the lack of focus.
Would you care to squeeze your head in your hands again, counsel? To
punish yourself for presenting such utterly irrelevant evidence.
Fuck. Okay. I'll squeeze my head as many times as it takes to win this. Okay, let me try again.
Yeah, why not? Try again.
Great! I love this court of law. Piece of evidence that reveals something about the identity of our mystery photographer. Did I miss something here? Wasn't there a mystery photographer who took this picture? Rockius England attorneys tell all. That's the view of Soseki-san. Who took this picture again? Looks at those quite an exchange. Became a little over animated about his time in England. The photographer managed to capture the moment his hand karate chopped me on the neck. Is that relevant? I don't know. I hope you weren't hurt. Okay, maybe that's not getting me anywhere. We read this article. There's nothing more there. I guess it's something in this photograph. We got Giselle Brett's suitcase. We got Giselle Brett. We got this stuff, man. Maybe it's the post-mortem report? That doesn't make any sense. Debate became quite spirited. I think it's this. The piece of okay, fuck. Yeah, no, okay, fuck. Oh, this is going south quick. Why are the tutorials so hard nowadays? What am I missing? What piece of evidence do you claim reveals something about the identity of our mystery photographer? Well, it's gotta be something in the photograph then. Shit! What do you mean? I'm running out of options. What is even left to try? What? Okay. Well, we know what it's not. We know it's not the pen. We know it's not either photograph. So that means the only things left are the Natsume article and the poison article. Or the post-mortem report, but that still doesn't make any sense to me, right? Ascertained by examination and witness statements. Single deep stab wound. Time of death. Maybe it's because you also have this mystery person who knew this, but didn't know. Following a lecture at Yume by Soseki Natsume.
What's this? The newspaper. Raucous England returnees tell all.
It's not the headline that's relevant here, Your Excellency. It's the photograph. Well, yeah, right. If you look closely, you'll notice there's some white lines on the... Oh, that's... This is a lens crack? Hold the fucking phone. I thought that was a fucking tree branch. I thought that was a little twig that was just like in the corner of the photo. I didn't think that was a crack. Fuck. I mean, yeah, when you put them side by side, I guess it becomes more obvious, but
Oh, man. Am I getting stupider with age? I think most adults do. I haven't been in school in a hot minute. Okay, whatever, fine. Well, then why did this photo not work? All right, fine. So it's the same photographer who took that photo that took this photo.
Oh, yes, indeed. They had already caught my eye as it happened.
Alright, what of it? A shadow of some kind, presumably, from the branches of a tree or the.
Oh my god, I'm thinking like prosecutor. Ouchie. Shit.
There are no trees growing inside my laboratory at the university, I can assure you.
Now, if you look closely at this photograph, look at this photograph!
Huh. Well, good gracious.
It's the same.
Yes, exactly the same pattern of lines is present on this photograph, too. Well, that tells us nothing! Ha! Yes, it's a shadow of some kind, definitely from the branches of a tree. There wouldn't be any trees growing inside a hut at the beach council. Oh!
What's quite remarkable about it is that the two patterns are absolutely identical. How could such an extraordinary similarity have transpired? A lens crack of some kind. It's the same camera.
It's the result of a camera defect. Alright. This is my chance to get back. What tree branch is that color? John Brown, it is a black and white photograph! What do you mean, what color?
Obviously, it must be due to a problem with the camera used to take the photographs.
Tito TJ, hello.
With the photographic device.
Yes, we can confidently say that the camera's lens must be scratched. And that the scratched lens causes unwanted lines to appear on every print taken with the device.
In short, the two photographs under consideration here were taken with the same camera. Huh. But there must be hundreds of such camera devices here in the capital. It would be utterly impossible to identify the owner of this particular one.
Dad, who took the picture of you?
I think you're forgetting, Prosecutor Ouchie, that one of the photographs featured in a newspaper article. A newspaper? Huh. That's right. The author of that article is the mystery witness to this crime.
Yeah, or just look at the newspaper citation, or just ask my dad who took the photo. I don't know. All right, wait, what did I miss? Who's screaming? Who's shouting? Oh, it's you. Great.
I see why you were called a raucous England returnee.
What are you yelling about? You've already testified. It's Minimamo, I tell you! Minimamo!
Who?
Me! Many Mimo! Soseki-san, what was that? Did you say Menimimo? Menimimo? It's a sea anemone? A menemone? Ever since I returned to Japan, a reporter from the Shoyu News has been hounding me, following my every move. A reporter by the name of Rayton Menimimo. Yes, hounding me from dawn till dusk. Now that he mentions it.
The handsome photographer? Oh my god, am I gonna get to talk to this man? Hello, bring him to the stand for me. That's right. I want to talk to him. I order a subpoena. Let's get him up here.
A camera to the left of him, a notebook to the right of him. There I am, stuck in the middle with Rayton Menimo.
Right. By the way, remember yesterday when you said you wished that guy was an important character? Guess who just became an important character? He's been given a name.
So you're saying this picture was taken by...
Menimimo! Yes, my lord, your excellency, Esquire.
Officer, find this newspaper reporter at once and bring him to my courtroom. We will adjourn for a short recess in the meantime.
Oh, yes, your excellency. As you say, Your Excellency.
And one more thing. I want this knife, the murder weapon, examined for traces of poison.
You're not gonna find any because the poison was in the pen. I'm still holding to that one. It's gonna come back into play, and I'm gonna be right about this.
You will solicit the assistance of the Imperial University's medical department for the task. Understood.
Oh, stop doing that, my guy.
Meh. Minimo!
Menemo! Menimemo! Rayton Menimemo is writing many memos. Rayton Menimemo to be continued, and just in the nick of time, it's been an hour, and I need to finish packing for my vacation. Save your current progress? Great, yeah, I almost ruined all of my credibility. Can't wait for that to bite me in the ass when I come back. Well, I hate to leave you boys on a cliffhanger, but I'm leaving the country, all right? I'm going on vacation for the rest of the weekend. I will return on Monday. So I hope you guys enjoy the rest of your week and your weekends. If you guys could please leave a like on the stream, the engagement is super helpful, and it makes me feel just a little bit less sad about life. And I hope you guys can hold your bridges till Monday when we solve the mystery and I talk to this handsome reporter man. I'm so excited. All right. I will see you guys then. Until then, boys, toodles.